The families of both the church family and my mother's family were the Black and Kidder family. They all came to Alberta in the 1890s into the Calgary area. My grandfather and his brother came in the middle 1880s, and it was after Calgary burnt down. And my great uncle was a stonemason, so he was responsible for building these stone buildings, the schools and Stephen Avenue in Calgary. And my grandfather came shortly thereafter with his wife, and he worked as a carpenter and had one of the very first houses on the north side of the river in Calgary in Bridgeland. And that was his first homestead. But in 1900, there got to be too many people in Calgary, so he moved 15 miles north on the Nose Creek, and that was his second homestead. On my mother's side, her uncle came here and was the first piano dealer in Alberta. And he had a homestead and land that he bought from the CPR at what is now Chestermere Lake, but it was originally named Kinnerborough Slough. And he needed more land because he was trading pianos for horses, and I think the horses were outnumbering the pianos. So he was looking for more land, and east of Airdrie, about 6 miles, there's a string of springs along that ridge, and that's where the prairies start and the foothills end. So my grandfather and his father-in-law and his uncle came to that area and homesteaded. And my grandfather came out here with his father-in-law just to see what it was like. And my grandmother, who was teaching in Huntington, Quebec, said, "Don't you dare stay out there." And it tells you a little bit about the times. My grandfather sent his return ticket back for his wife, my grandmother, to get onto a boxcar and come out with her 2-year-old daughter, which was my aunt. And they came out and they started a place east of Airdrie in Yankee Valley. They then homesteaded near Acme. And my mother's first recollection was a Democrat ride when they moved from the homestead at Acme, which they got the title, which they traded for a quarter section from a colonization company to add to their quarter section east of Airdrie in Yankee Valley. And her first recollection is with her and her sister and my grandmother going 30 miles across country with all their worldly possessions. And she thought it was really something. For her 100th birthday, she wanted to go for a helicopter ride so she could retrace that. And the pilot was an Australian gal that looked about 14 with my youngest sister. So here's the three of them taking a ride in a helicopter when she's 100 years old over a country that she first was in a Democrat. So that's our history in the Calgary-Balzac area. Both of my grandfathers and my uncles have been involved with all sorts of community activities. And it's almost like there's a gene in our makeup somewhere that says if you don't contribute to the community, you haven't lived a very full life.